I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for another episode of Transfer Talk. We've got plenty to talk about, but please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new with notifications on. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We're at Let's Talk Premier League. We bring you all the breaking news, all of the transfer news that you need, and we're better than Sky Sports. But let's go to some comments before we talk about what we're going to be doing. Emil. Yo, big up to DC in the chat. No to Smith Rowe. I mean, I'll take him. So do I, but I don't want him as a first. I mean, I don't know who would you want above Smith Rowe, but let's talk about this briefly. He has potential. Big up Niall, another decent show. Thank you very much. But let me just share my screen. What are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about Manchester United potentially scouting Aliou Dieng, who plays in, I think it's Egypt. Don't quote me on that. I think it's around that area. He's basically in the African Champions League semi-final, and United. He's playing there Saturday. United have asked permission to go there and scout him. Is this a potential DM that Manchester United are looking at? He's very, very strong. He's very physically well built. He is someone that no one would have heard of. But United want to scout Aliou Dieng. We'll get into that one a bit more. There's a bit more to that. We're also going to be talking about Chelsea, who have identified Gerard Moreno as a backup plan in case they don't get Haaland, which, you know, is quite an interesting one to say the least. Would Gerard Moreno be the potential fit for Chelsea? We're also going to be talking about the big news of Aston Villa are determined to try and take Emil Smith Rowe off Arsenal as a replacement for Jack Grealish. This isn't as someone who is going to work with Jack. It will be a replacement, which could signal something, someone leaving. Also, we're going to be talking about Newcastle United, who are really hunting Joe Willock and have a player to give as a make weight. So could we be talking a bit about Joe Willock be leaving? We're also going to be talking about Patson Daka to Leicester. It's a done deal. It's done. It's completed, sorted, finished, done. We're also going to be talking about Liverpool youngster Neco Williams, who is going to leave Liverpool this summer, which is a brutal one for him. And that is that. But yeah, plenty to talk about. There's no better place than right here at Let's Talk Premier League for a bit of transfer talk. I mean, especially if you're an England fan. If you're an England fan and you're a bit nervous a bit before the big game, obviously, against the Czech Republic, then what better place than to sit right here with me and talk a little bit about transfers. But let me just get what I need up now. There we go. I just need all the information, as I'm sure you all know very well. Let's go to some comments quickly. Once it works. Hope you are well. Ward-Prowse. No. I mean, Smith Rowe is better than Ward-Prowse. I mean, come on. They don't even play in the same position. You want someone to replace Jack Grealish and you're saying Ward-Prowse. Come on. Big up man like Ravi. Big up Perry and DC. Hope everyone is well. Moyes wants Collector-Car or Tarkowski with Tuanzebe as a third option. See, for me, Tuanzebe shouldn't be a third option. He shouldn't be. He needs to get game time. Aliou, Dieng, never heard of him. Neither had I until I started looking into it. Very exciting, though. Plays that DM role. Plays DM. Manchester United crying out for a DM. Is this guy, Aliou Dieng, that person? I mean, if this was being done by Leicester, boy, everyone would be like, this is the best scouting network of all time. But, you know, will they do it? Will they do it? You can assume he's not going to be overly expensive. Oh, that's the cricket. Big up to Wolf in the chat as well. That player from Africa should play in a mid-table club in Europe. To be honest, he needs to prove himself. Jumping directly to a big club doesn't work. United should only sign proven, established players. I mean, what if he's good enough though? What if the United scouts go to this African Champions League semi-final on Saturday and identify him as good enough to play for Manchester United? He comes to the Premier League and sets it on fire. Imagine the scenes. How Jack doesn't want to leave. There's a bit about that. Let me read it to you. You're probably going to be a bit upset. And big up to Noel. But let's talk about the real things. Let's talk about the transfers. Manchester United scouts are waiting for confirmation from the CAF to travel to Egypt to watch Al-Ahly defensive midfielder Aliou Dieng, who is 23 years old, when he faces ES Tunis in the CAF Champions League semi-final second leg on Saturday. So United are going, they've asked permission to go and scout this kid or this guy. He's 23 years old. So there's that potential growth. He's a young player that fits the philosophy of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That could be good enough. We thought Dan James was good enough, even though he wasn't proven or established. The difference with Dan James is, if anyone had watched football, you should have gone for David. But if you wanted a Welsh person to replace Giggsy, you should have gone for David Brooks over Dan James, because Brooksy, better footballer. But yeah, that's the bit on United. I'm jealous of Leicester signing Daka, brilliant signing. Yeah, it's a great signing. A little bit on Chelsea, though. Chelsea are working on new signings and talking. They have active negotiations. They're seeing what big transfers they can get done first. Then there were new existing players at contracts after the Euros. That is according to Nizar Kinsella via the London is Blue podcast. So that one, very interesting there. They're going to try and get the big signings. Now, what big signings are Chelsea looking at? Well, they're looking at Hakimi. They're looking at Haaland. Those two are the big transfers that Chelsea are looking at. Marcos Alonso going to Inter Milan is another transfer they're looking at trying to do. They're probably going to try and offload maybe Loftus-Cheek on the loan, maybe Emerson, some other players, maybe Billy Gilmour on loan, or will Billy Gilmour play a pivotal part in Chelsea's campaign this year? We're also talking about Chelsea, the backup to Haaland, though. Chelsea have identified an alternative option for Haaland in the form of Villarreal striker Gerard Moreno. Tuchel is a fan of the Spaniard and sees him as a plan B should a deal not be attained for Haaland. So basically what that's meaning is, so you've got Hakimi, backup is Adama Traore. Haaland, backup is Gerard Moreno. Chelsea fans, if you get Adama Traore and Gerard Moreno, are you classing that as a good transfer window? Is that a good transfer window for a team like Chelsea? Or should you be trying to achieve better? Should you get Hakimi? Should you get Haaland? Or should you aim for someone better than Gerard Moreno and Adama Traore? What's your thoughts? Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you on that one as well. Because for me, if you don't get Hakimi or Haaland, you've got a B-Tech version of both. You've got Adama Traore, which is a oiled up, juiced up Dan James, and you've picked up Gerard Moreno, who somewhat could be good, somewhat could be bad. It's one of them, really. Aston Villa, a bit of Arsenal news. There's a bit of Arsenal in terms of outgoings. There's obviously some incomings. We will get onto Arsenal's incomings at another show. Because there's been so much going on. We haven't had one of these in a while. We're playing catch up a little bit. Obviously, Euros is majorly impact, but we're here 3 p.m. every day now because the Euros is no longer having the 3 games a day. But let's talk Villa. Aston Villa are willing to pay up to £32 million for Emile Smith Rowe. They are trying to buy a ready-made replacement for Jack Grealish as Manchester City begin to circle. So Manchester City are looking at Jack Grealish. That is well known. They're going to try and get Jack Grealish in. Arsenal have already rejected a £25 million offer. They've already... Sorry, dry mouth. They've already rejected a £25 million offer. They aren't entertaining Aston Villa. So Arsenal have zero, and I mean zero, idea of entertaining these bids. They don't want to let Emile Smith Rowe leave the club. He is going to sign a new deal soon, apparently. I think with this, if you do lose Jack Grealish, yes, it's going to be hard. But is Emile Smith Rowe a good enough replacement? That's the question. You brought in Buendia. If you have Emile Smith Rowe as well, is that really that next level? Is that really taking you to that next level? I think it could do. I think it very much could do, but it would depend on a lot of variables. How quickly Emile sets into the club. Does Dean Smith get the best out of him? These are questions that are yet to be answered. But I do think that if Emile Smith Rowe went to Arsenal, I think he does a great job. I do think he does a great job. Not because I think Arsenal are bad, because that's a foregone conclusion right now under Arteta. But I do think Smith Rowe would do very well under Dean Smith. I think Dean Smith is a great coach, great manager, with the ability to really take this Villa side even further. If he's already strengthened with Buendia. Now, if you can somehow keep Jack Grealish, you won't get Emile Smith Rowe. This is only if you lose Jack Grealish. Let me make that perfectly clear right now. You're only looking at getting Emile Smith Rowe if you lose Jack Grealish. If not, you're going to have Watkins, you're going to have Grealish, and you're going to have Buendia. Straight away, that looks a very, very good attack. If you can get some depth in the back line, if you can get maybe a bit of depth in that central midfield role, Villa look a really good dark horses. I mean, the word dark horses are thrown about way too loosely at the best of times. Obviously, a lot of people call Turkey dark horses, and now all of them would like to apologise. But Villa, if they can keep hold of Jack Grealish, I mean, keeping Jack Grealish is a key. If they can keep Jack Grealish, this is a huge, huge deal for them. A couple of comments here. Wow, Leicester have signed Daka before United have even signed Sancho. I don't think Chelsea fans will be happy with Gerard Moreno and Adama Traore. Wolf says Adama Traore fire. I don't know what Adama Traore you've been seeing. Chelsea fans should be happy with Traore. Why? He is so bad. He's so bad. Hakimi and Haaland is what Chelsea want. That is very true. They do want Hakimi, Haaland, but as with any big transfer, you do need a backup, an emergency backup plan, just in case it all goes tits up on that. Haaland is unrealistic for Chelsea. I disagree. They're the only club who can physically afford him right now. Fuck off. You're going to ruin Jack's career. Look, I think Jack Grealish needs to win a Premier League title. I'm sorry, DC, and you're not going to like me for saying it. Grealish has to win a Premier League title before his career is over. He is one of the greatest talents that the league has seen in a very long time. He has to win something. Haaland will join Madrid or Barcelona. Neither of them have money. City, I meant. Haaland will be worth over 100 million for sure. That is very true. That is very true. City made a bid for Kane. If they can't get Kane, they will bid for Haaland. Nope. City won't be looking at Haaland. I don't think City even contemplating Haaland at this moment in time. I think if they don't get Kane, they're looking at Grealish. Don't ask me. I think they want Kane. If they can't get Kane, this false nine crap that Pep's been doing is going to continue for a while yet. But that's on this Emile Smith Rowe. Let's talk a bit about Joe Willock. Joe Willock remains Newcastle's top transfer priority this summer. Arsenal are keen to sign 24-year-old English goalkeeper Freddie Woodman this summer, and the Magpies could well use him as a make-weight in a potential deal for Joe Willock. Now, the thing with this, it makes perfect sense because Newcastle got two great goalkeepers. They got Darlow and they got Dubravka. There's not really space for Freddie Woodman. If Arsenal are looking for Freddie Woodman, maybe as a backup, maybe as a first team starter, I hope it for Arsenal fans' sake it's not as a first team starter. But if they do that, I think that does work. I think that works very well for Arsenal. It's a good backup goalkeeper, and you've managed to offload Joe Willock, which we've seen with Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard had such a good season with West Ham. That is because when he plays for United, he faces low blocks. He's not good at a low block. He's not technically good enough. But when he plays for a club like West Ham United, who are predominantly playing counter, the other teams aren't going to be as afraid of West Ham as they are a United. It means that the defenders can push up against them, which does leave that space in and behind for someone like Jesse Lingard to get into. So for me, Willock to Newcastle is a great move for Willock. Not only for Newcastle, but a great one for Willock as well. But also, I think it's good for Arsenal. A backup goalkeeper on the name of Freddie Woodman. He's a good backup goalkeeper. Had a great season for Swansea last year. Got to a playoff final with Swansea. It's a good move. It is a good move. So yeah, that's my view there. Done that one. Oh, I thought City were interested in Haaland, but if you say it's only Chelsea, then that's fair enough. It's not that they're not interested. I think he'll cost too much. City aren't willing to really go over the 100 million mark. Then they just don't want to. Haaland will be in excess of 150 million pounds. And we're not even sure there's a release clause in his contract. So there's so many variables around this that I'm not 100% sure that Manchester City want to go over that 100 million mark. They've never done that before. Not many clubs have, of course. Are Manchester City willing to do that? If so, will financial fair play be a problem? We've known City have had their issues with financial fair play in recent years. Could this be one of them? Big up to Not Muzzy. How are you doing? Now, what players, in your opinion, are good against low block teams? Well, they have to have quality. So you straight away, a player like Bruno, a player like De Bruyne. They are a player like Grealish. I think all three of them, they're good on the ball. They're brave in their decision making. They're quick thinkers. They play the ball quickly. They read the game very well. Players like them, I think, are what you need against a low block. That's my personal opinion. That's how I see football. I do see De Bruyne he's so technically gifted. You think of it even at Eden Hazard. When Eden Hazard played at Chelsea, he was so small and so agile. He was just so good with the ball at his feet. He'll be able to break down these low blocks. You need technically gifted players. Jesse Lingard is not technically gifted. He's not world class, but he is technically gifted. Grealish is really good at bringing players towards him and drawing fouls. He is fantastic at that. Grealish, for me, and I just did a match preview on the England-Czech Republic game, or Czech Republic-England. And I've described Jack Grealish as England's Ronaldo or Messi. Now, before you all start, that's not saying that he's better than Ronaldo or even on the same level as Ronaldo or Messi. What I'm merely saying is that for us, for our nation, Jack Grealish is our Messi, our Ronaldo. He is that good. He can draw fouls. And if you've got someone who can take free kicks at your club, he's going to get you a lot of goals from set pieces because he's going to draw them fouls. He's going to draw the fouls from on the edge of the area. He'll get you some penalties. But he's not just that. He's also really good at unlocking defenses because he's so quick, because he's so agile, because he's so good with the ball at his feet. And he also takes games by a scruff of the neck. Never have I seen Jack Grealish hide in a game. Never. That is because he doesn't want to. He takes the game. He gives it his all every single time. Grealish is amazing. Hazard had a low centre of gravity and was really good at one-on-one situations. De Bruyne is really technically gifted. He dominates the midfield and has such a presence on the pitch, passes really well. That is everything you've said there, very factual. Bruno Fernandes takes a lot of risks. His passing is very risky passes. He will lose you the ball. But that is that you have to make a decision. Are you willing to lose the ball as many times as Bruno does? on the off chance that he will make one of those great passes in and behind that defence to a Greenwood, a Rashford, a Cavani? The answer to that simply is yes. You need to allow these types of players to play with no fear. There needs to be no fear in Bruno's game. There needs to be no fear that he will get a bollocking for losing the ball. Football has changed. He needs to have the confidence that he can go out and do what he does. But he is by far a very, very good footballer. Patson Daka, though. Let's talk a bit about Patson Daka. Patson Daka to Leicester, done deal. Paperwork completed between Leicester and RB Salzburg in the last hours. Personal terms already agreed. Just a matter of time when it's going to be announced soon. That is from Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio saying done deal. Patson Daka will be a Leicester City player next season. This is a terrific move for Leicester City because not only are they getting a really good player, a player that was looked at by Liverpool, they're getting a player because you have to again think Vardy. Is Vardy at the age now where he is going to decline? Unfortunately, I hate to break it to people, he is. He is going to be on the decline. He's getting older. We saw a bit of it last season. Now, I think Jamie Vardy is a class act. I love Jamie. I love what his journey, his story is amazing, right? But Leicester do need to have a plan B. They have to have that younger option now. They have to have that replacement ready for Jamie Vardy when Jamie Vardy can no longer continue to be the Jamie Vardy we all love and know. Patson Daka could be that guy. He was looked very, very closely by Liverpool. He was wanted by a lot of Liverpool fans. I think Daka to Leicester, a great move for Daka. He'll get game time. He's better than Iheanacho. But he's also working in the pressure at Leicester is a lot less, but also Leicester in Europa League next year. They are very, very good. They've got other players coming in as well that will just strengthen them. So I think it's mad. Could Leicester sign both Edouard and Daka to prepare for Vardy retiring and Iheanacho inconsistent? I've always said the issue at Leicester is their squad depth. I think they could get both Edouard and Daka to offer that squad depth. It's just a matter of if they can afford it. I think they can. That Europa League money, that good finish they have, fifth is a good finish for Leicester. I think they can afford it now, and I think getting Edouard and Daka really important for them. Who do you think will? Who do you got winning for Group D? England, of course. England, my boys, England. That is who I think is going to top Group B. Group D, we have to top Group D. We have to. KDB was excellent again. Excellent yesterday against Finland. Also good against Denmark. His shooting, passing, dribbling, everything he does is excellent. Really good link-up player, Romelu Lukaku as well. Don't be surprised if City may be entertaining the idea of getting Lukaku in. Don't be surprised. Daka will score goals for fun. I'm a fan of him. It will certainly be an interesting one to look at. Really, really interesting look at Patson Daka. The last one, before I obviously put the link in the chat for you guys to come on and have your say, because that's what the most crucial bit is. I find all this information, I present this information to you, but I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I love to interact with you. I love to talk to you guys. That's why this channel was set up. Well, predominantly it was set up as there was a group of us that wanted to we left in our channel. He moved on, did something different with his channel. This channel was set up sort of as a sort of replacement for that, for us all to sort of come and talk. Now I've grown this group of sort of community. I love talking to you guys. It's what makes this so enjoyable. Neco Williams is expected to leave Liverpool this summer after finding first-team opportunities limited at Anfield. The 20-year-old is currently away of Wales on international duty at Euro 2020 and made his first start to a tournament against Italy on Sunday. He has spent the past 2 seasons serving as backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold after making his Reds debut against Arsenal in October 2019. The Wales international was subject to a loan inquiry from Southampton back in January, while Leeds United and Aston Villa and Burnley have all joined the Saints in expressing genuine interest in his services over the past year. With interest likely to escalate this summer, the Echo understands Liverpool are expecting Williams to aim for a transfer following his return from Euro 2020. A Premier League and FIFA Club World Cup winner with Liverpool, the right-back has made 25 appearances since breaking through for the Reds, but only 4 of those have come in 2021. And such an opportunity is unlikely to be forthcoming at Anfield behind Trent Alexander-Arnold in the pecking order. It is believed Liverpool won't stand in Williams' way if he does ask to leave as a result, and would be willing to sanctioning a permanent exit with the defender expected to be available from a starting price of 10 million. I think £10 million for Neco Williams is a steal. I think clubs like Southampton, like Leeds, like Burnley should be looking at that. I think he's good enough. I think he's good enough to play at a lower Premier League side. The same with Nat Phillips. I think there are, and look, of course, Neco Williams does not start above Trent. That's obviously he doesn't. But Neco Williams is a good player. You see it for Wales a lot of the time. He's got flair. He's got the ability to play in the Premier League. He's just not good enough. He's not better than Trent. That's the unfortunate thing for Neco. He is good enough. He's just not better than Trent, which is understandable. Trent being one of the best right backs in the world, not even just in the league, in the world. So I think it is fair for Neco Williams to want to leave. And if he does, I think he should be allowed to leave. I think that is fair. I think you should allow him to leave. Now, of course, young player comes through youth academy. You want him to do well. I understand that, but he deserves to play first team football. He is very good. He is very, very good. I'm not sure what is going on with the links. I have put the link in the chat for you guys to come on and have your say. As I say, it's really important for me if you guys do join him, because at the end of the day, I think I love interacting with you guys. It's what makes it fun. It's what makes it fun. What I will do is, because it's not, for some reason, StreamYard isn't posting very well onto the things. So what I will do is I will manually put the link into the stream. Right, so if you guys look underneath the tweet, the link to call in is in there. So if you want to come on and have your say, please do so. A couple of comments here. Bruno likes to take risks with his passing. KDB, Bruno and Grealish are all really good at unlocking stubborn defences. I like Neco Williams, but don't blame him for leaving. I would have kept him, but we got Gomez who can cover right back. He's played there before. I agree. I would take 10 million. Do you not think 10 million is a little too cheap? I think 10 million is a little too cheap. That's for sure. Yesterday, Finland's goalkeeper was playing so good. I mean, he was really good. That is for sure. What I will do is I will pin the link. There you go. I've pinned the link. So obviously, if you jump in, you straight away see the link. But the link is in the chat for you to come on and have your say. Same with Nat Phillips. I would take around 10 million for him too. Kabak on to Schalke. I would come on, but I've got my niece round at the moment. I understand that, mate. I do. And pin the link. I just have. But we'll go to some of your calls. We've got Lewis. How are you doing, Lewis?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Talk to me about Smith Rowe. What's the problem with getting Smith Rowe at Villa?
I don't see the problem. He's just like, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but I wouldn't want him, like, especially if you're trying to call him a Grealish replacement. I don't see it yet. Obviously, he's very young. I don't want to take his potential away from him. I just go on the stage. Yes, he's young. I just don't.
Who would you get then? So if you don't think Smith Rowe's good enough to be that replacement, so the exact words in this article were they are trying to buy a ready-made replacement for Jack Grealish as Man City begin to circle. If you don't think Smith Rowe is that ready-made replacement, who is that you can afford and that will go to Villa? Because let's not get this twisted. Jack Grealish is a world-class player that came through your youth academy. You didn't buy him. So who can you realistically buy to get at Villa Park when he goes or if he goes?
Well, we just bought him at Emi Buendia.
What, as a replacement for Jack Grealish?
I'd call him a very much better replacement.
But wouldn't it make sense to get two in? So wouldn't it make sense to have Buendia and Smith Rowe?
I'm in two minds Smith Rowe because yes, he's a very good player, but I don't know. I haven't seen much of it. It's hard to say. Like,
well, he's been playing at Arsenal, so he's been playing at a mid-table club anyway. So he probably could do with a bit of a jump up anyway.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He probably would run the best in a bad bunch again, but I don't know. I'm in two minds.
Okay, if you don't get Smith Rowe, you've already got Buendia. Let's think about who you want in as well as Buendia. Think of it as a big club. Think of it as actually what you want to do. What would you be doing? Who'd you replace Jack Grealish with?
I don't have a clue because Grealish obviously will be so hard to replace. I don't have a clue who. Well,
of course, it's Jack Grealish. No one is saying, Lewis, that this is going to be the easiest guy to replace of all time. But to get someone who's Premier League, relatively Premier League proven, he knows the league, played at Arsenal, did fairly well for Arsenal. Do you not think that someone like him that could develop into a really good player? Do you not think this might be a good move, especially for only 32 million? Just think about the 32 million pound. For me, that's the important bit.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing, I think I'm just writing him off way too easily. If I'm honest, I think I'm writing him off way too easily.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be a decent signing, but again, like, I think I would take him at the end of the day. I think I'm trying to write him off way too easily.
Yeah, look, no one is saying that replacing Jack Grealish is going to be the easiest thing in the world. No one is saying that, right? It's going to be ridiculously difficult replacing someone of Jack Grealish's qualities, the level that he performs at. Ridiculously difficult, but I do think a Smith Rowe probably does go quite well. I do hear that. Couple of comments here. I see your point about being cheap, but we managed to get £25 million for Booster. You did, but I still think it is a bit cheap though. I wonder what centre-back partnership Liverpool go with next season. Most of the season, Van Dijk, Konate or Van Dijk, Gomez. If you drop Gomez to the bench, he is going to be pissed because he's done nothing wrong to warrant being on the bench for Liverpool, apart from an injury. Big up JB. Leicester now have Daka, Vardy, Tielemans, Maddison and Perez. See, I don't rate Perez. I just don't. I think they need to sell him and replace him. Manchester United haven't done shit in the transfer window. It's only been open a little while. Euros, although Sancho probably could have just had a holiday because I don't think he's getting used much. So, he's just gone on a training course by the looks of it. Big up to Ravi. And what team does Pay support? He's a Villa fan. He is a Villa fan. I want to talk to you about, though, sticking on the Arsenal subject. Willock to Newcastle. Do you see this as potentially a good move for Joe Willock?
100%. He went to Newcastle. He helped them massively last season. He helped them climb that table because you got to remember when he came in the club, they were looking very high candidates to be relegated, and they finished 12th last season. He helped them massively. He had a goal disallowed against Liverpool, then scored against Liverpool, and then he helped them massively. And if they get him on a permanent fee, Newcastle have done really well to get him.
Yeah, and I mean they're going to use Freddie Woodman as a potentially that sort of make weight, that option to try and sweeten the deal, I suppose. Arsenal are looking at Freddie Woodman, so it does make sense to offer him. We will start off with Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate. We'll need to learn how we play, etc. Fabinho started on the bench. Then once he learned how we play, he got in the starting 11. Yeah, I'm sure that Klopp will do similar. But I want to talk now about. Look, I'm not going to ask anyone about Aliou Dieng because I don't think any of you are going to know who he is. That one though is something I'm going to try and hunt down a few stats, see what I can find, have a look at him. But Chelsea, if they don't land Hakimi, they don't land Haaland, their options are Adama Traore and Gerard Moreno. Is that good enough for Chelsea? And if you think that they are, do you think they can win the league with that?
They're not good enough. Don't get me wrong, Gerard Moreno is a good player, but Darwin Traore, you're talking about downgrading from an Hakimi deal to a Darwin Traore deal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he's pacey, he's strong. It'll be very hard for him to get caught, and he will be able to get down that ring quite easily, especially because he's like baby old, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But no. I really don't know.
Do you not see Adama Traore as a good move then?
No.
I mean, I do hear that. I think it's ridiculously pathetic from Chelsea if they get him. We are joined by Velvishwan, who has is that Neuhaus is that Neuhaus?
No, there's Dusan Vlahovic.
Oh, Vlahovic. I don't think he plays for Liverpool. But talk to me. Let's start with the news from Liverpool. Let's start with your own team before we start discussing other things. Neco Williams, do you think it's time for him to go make a career out of his football career? Because look, there's two questions. Is he better than Trent? Will he get into the squad over Trent? The answer to that question very, very quickly is no and no. So should Liverpool let him go? If so, how much do you want to sell him for? Because I think there's a good player in that. And remember, you did manage a scam 25 million for Brewster, which I'm still to this day don't know how you did that, but you know.
Here's the thing, I like Neco Williams.
Yeah.
I feel like we should loan him instead of selling him. Because there's a player in there.
Well, okay, let me put it a different way. Do you ever think in his career he's going to be better than Trent?
Maybe defensively, but not offensively. He won't be as good as Trent.
Right. Overall, do you ever see him being better than Trent?
No.
So what is the point of loaning out a player that will never be better than the right back who you would assume is never going to leave Liverpool in his career?
No, but here's the thing with Trent. He's only a right back because of Klopp's system. Like, if Klopp leaves, he's not going to be a right back.
Where's he going to play?
In midfield, in the future, Trent.
Or they will find someone that works well with Klopp's ideology that's worked so well for Liverpool, and Trent continues. I hear you. So you don't want to sell him. You want him to go out on loan.
Yeah.
I hear that. I do. I mean, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. But Klopp's not leaving for another 3 years.
Yeah, because here's the
thing. You're going to loan him out for 3 years?
Nah. Here's the thing. It's difficult because we got rid of one of our right backs last season, Keanu Hoiberg. He's the one I was very angry that we got rid of because I thought he was such a talented right back. So to get rid of another one, then it's like getting rid of him, but we need to replace him. Like, who's going to be that right back? And I heard reports saying Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be the backup right back for Trent, which is ridiculous.
Well, he did used to play right wing back for Arsenal.
I know, but that's why
in fact, he sort of came through the youth as right wing back.
Yeah, the reason for that because he had like pace, and he's a very good crosser. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're looking at him. But
and let's be fair, Oxlade-Chamberlain can't be picky where he's playing anymore because he ain't getting another top club after this, is he? Liverpool is his last hope for a top club.
And here's the thing, he's injury prone, so
well, there is that as well.
So it's Trent's injured.
It's okay. Trent doesn't seem to get injured often, apart from ironically before a major tournament for England. But we won't dwell on that too much. I can
No,
Southgate do it on purpose.
but like we need rotation now. Like we can't use
Hmm.
Ox or Milner as a right back. If you want to get a right back, go get another right back that will challenge Trent.
Challenge Trent. Where are you willing to spend that much money on Hakimi?
No, Hakimi.
Because there's not many players that can challenge Trent Alexander-Arnold.
The only person
I mean,
can
he's
think of-
world class. He's the best player. He's the best right back in the world, arguably.
I know, but I feel like, say, like Trent's getting exposed, like we change things up, get another right back in to bring that
Right.
cover for Trent. Like I would take a Max Aarons if he was available. Is he available?
That's, define available. Define available. He'll be available if you stump up 40 odd million, but other than that, no. It defined to me what you want as available. Everyone's available. Haaland is available if you're willing to pay 150 million. The difference is, are Liverpool willing to spend 40 million on a backup right back? And also, is Max Aarons even going to contemplate being a backup right back? I don't think he should. I think Max Aarons should go to United. I think he'll really challenge Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
Wan-Bissaka would have to improve his ass.
That's the problem. Like get rid of right back, no cover, and then if Trent gets an injury,
You got Gomez, haven't you? Who's played right back?
but he's also injury prone as well. That's the thing.
Well, you do have a lot of that. You are injury prone, FC.
The only person who could probably do a right back spot is like Simicast. That's it. But apart from that, none.
I'll talk to Velvishwan about that in a second. Simicast right back, did you just say? So he's a left back, or can he play both?
I would like to see him play right back. I saw he did glimpses of it like at Olympiacos, but not like continuously.
Is he 2-footed, left and right?
No, he's more left-footed.
Well, that might be an issue then.
He has a decent cross with his right foot.
He's got a good cross on his right foot.
Yeah, he doesn't do it
Good work.
consistently, but it's a decent crosser.
Yeah, good work. Trent could easily play as a winger. Well, he could. He probably already basically does. He's not really a right back, is he? He's a wing back. Hope Sancho scores tonight. Sancho or Grealish. I hope Sancho gets on. Jay, I don't have hopes for Sancho scoring. I just hope he gets onto the pitch. I've lowered my expectations. I want to see Sancho in that white kit on the pitch, or blue kit, whatever we wear. Probably blue. I just want to see Sancho play. I couldn't give a toss if he scores. I want both of them starting.
I mean, we're already qualified, so he should start Sancho if he thinks he's not going to be the starting lineup.
We have to win the group, Velvishwan. We have to win the group. Yo just joined. You got on to Neco. We're just talking about Neco Williams. So if you do want to jump on about Neco, but basically they're willing to let him go. £10 million for Neco. Velvishwan says he wants to loan him out though. But it is understood that if Neco Williams asks to leave, Liverpool won't stand in his way. So it's very difficult with Neco Williams. It is ridiculously difficult, and I feel for the kid. I feel for him because the issue with Neco Williams is he is a good player, but Trent's world class. Trent is like the best right back in the world. Like there's only really Hakimi could probably even be in that conversation. Who else?
Kimmich.
Yeah, but he's more of a DM now, isn't he? Plays DM. I mean, United fans are forcing this Wan-Bissaka shit on me, but I mean, his defensive positioning leaves a lot to be desired for. And if we want to be brutal, his attacking abilities aren't world class either. So there are limitations to his game as well.
It's only Hakimi that could chat to him. There's no one else in the world that can.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe Reece James in the future. Maybe Max Aarons if he goes to a United or even a City. Maybe Cancelo could in years come by. But there's not many that could even be in the bracket of that conversation, even in the future. And I think that's the main issue is you've got such a good right back. Whoever comes in is a backup to Trent, regardless of what's going on. And I think that's the difficulty that you have.
The only way that they could possibly accept if Trent plays in midfield. But but that's not going to happen for like another 2 years.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen Klopp even contemplate that idea. I don't think I've ever seen Trent play midfield for Klopp before, let alone.
He's played it like earlier, but like, that was like only like once or twice, like not consistently enough. But you seen like goals he scored last season when he was like in the midfield position, like the goal against Aston Villa. That was him in the midfield.
I'll be a good boy again. I don't know why I minimise that. I'm gonna go to. Everyone knows I'm sort of not obsessed. I love using this site for comparisons. Keep talking Welsh one though, because my multitasking ability is fucking woeful at best. But yeah, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get Neco Williams stats. Obviously, I love using stats. I love comparing stats. So let's go Neco Williams. Let's go Trent. Obviously, I'll do it per 90 to be fair. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's chuck Max Aarons in the ring as well. Let's keep this fairly English. Max Aarons, because that's when you compare different players from different leagues, and the stats do look a bit skew-whiff because different. Is it Maximilian Aarons? Is that his actual name? Yeah, it is Maximilian. His name is genuinely Maximilian Aarons. We'll chuck in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, I don't lie on this channel. We don't lie. So we've got Neco Williams, Trent, Max Aarons, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
James Aaron.
Who else should we compare? Who else should we look at?
Let's just add Reece James.
Yeah, Reece James. That's a good shout. As I said, let's keep it fairly English. Obviously, I know Neco is Welsh. Let's keep it. Oh, there's two Reece James. I hope I've picked the right one. So now I need
one is
to.
a Doncaster one.
Yeah, there we go. I just picked the Doncaster one. Of course I do. Also got Reece. We're just looking at stats for right backs, just to see where Neco really fits in, and to the standard that he fits in. Reece, what do you make of this? Do you want to see him go? I mean, he's a good player. He is a good player. Just is he going to play? That's the issue.
I don't particularly rate him. I think if we can get somehow 10 million out of him, then that would be an absolutely incredible deal for us. We need somebody with experience that is not learning on the job and, has already had plenty of game time under their belt. With Neco Williams, what we have is a guy that needs game time, but he's never going to get game time for us. And the fact that if we then loan him out, we then don't have a right back. So it makes sense to basically cash in on him while he's still got unfound potential, because a club will basically just believe that, if he's got game time with us in the past couple of years, then he has potential and he can make it. I'm not saying he can't, of course, but at the moment we're never going to get that potential out of him because he's just not going to play enough games. Like I said, for him, he needs game time. We need somebody who can come in and not necessarily be happy to be a backup, but understand that they will be a backup. And, somebody more similar in terms of we need somebody that we know can do a job, as opposed to somebody like Neco who has the potential to be good, but we don't know. So whenever he plays, we basically just, I think the majority of our fan base basically is worried because he could have an absolute shocker and we just don't know. We need somebody more solid for that position. And if we were able to get 10 million out of him, honestly, that would be an incredible deal for us.
Right. Let me share my screen. Let me do the wonderful. No, I don't want to share a video file. Jesus. I don't want to show you Velvet Schwan's porn tape. But
Yes.
here are the stats. So I've obviously had a little look whilst you were talking. Now, I'm not surprised about this. I will say. Let me try and get them right. So blocks is the last one. There we go. Right. So actually, you can't even, let me take down the ticker quickly. Right. So I've done this as per 90 to be as fair as possible. Obviously, ball recoveries trend is clear. Possession lost. Neco Williams doesn't tend to lose possession too much. Obviously, Trent for assists and chances created. We all know that he's going to be flying there. But Neco Williams he's got better than Wan-Bissaka. He's not overly worse than. In fact, let me get the max Aarons from the Premier League. There we go. Let's look at let's keep this as fair as possible. So his chances created is better than Aaron's when he was in the Prem. Better than Wan-Bissaka by a 0.1. Obviously, we know he's not going to be as good as Reece James, so he's not bad at chances created. His pass accuracy is levels with Trent and Max Aaron's. Wan-Bissaka and Reece James are clear on that one. His take on success is the best out of all of them. His aerial duel success rate is better than Trent, better than Max Aaron's, not as good as Wan-Bissaka or Reece James. His ground success is better than Trent, better than Max Aaron's, better than Reece James. His clearances are on par with Trent. His interceptions are the best out of all of them. And he's not very good at blocking the ball, but it is on par with he's better than Trent, on par with Wan-Bissaka, and better than Reece James. So looking at them, and I know obviously stats don't tell the full story, but he don't look too bad. He's not a bad player.
It's just the abuse he got from the fan base. Like, he was balling out before. I remember the Carabao Cup against Arsenal where he got the
Yes, Kenny is at school, I believe. I imagine what their stats would look like, and I was right. Love to see it. But yeah, Velvet Schwan, keep talking, bro.
Yeah, he was good before that. I remember the Carabao Cup was against Arsenal 5-0 where he got the equalising assist. Brilliant assist from.
You said it there, though. It's 5-5. He was part of a team that conceded 5 goals.
No, but if you actually watch,
but Trent was a part of a team that conceded 7 goals. So we don't want to go down that route, Reece.
But I remember that.
No, but I remember that he didn't particularly have a great game.
Wan-Bissaka,
we do know
Wan-Bissaka was
okay going forward, but he's really, really bad at the back.
It wasn't
his
him.
Defensive awareness is shocking, and that's why he needs to play games.
No, it wasn't his fault particularly. I remember Milner gave the ball away. Who was it? Harvey Elliott gave the ball away.
No, but I'm saying not just that game, but we've seen plenty of times like he's obviously his take on success is high because he likes to dribble with the ball a lot, and obviously he goes solely down the right flank. We've never really seen him cut in, other than a couple of times. I think he's gotten to like the edge of the box and he's had like a left-footed shot when he's played in like the League Cup, the FA Cup, or maybe come on as a sub in the Champions League. But he hasn't played consistently in the Premier League to a level where you'd say that he really would do anything against the best players. Because I think that if he played against a Rashford, played against even a Sterling or a Foden or a Grealish or, any of the top wingers in the Premier League, like fucking, let alone in the Champions League, if Trent got injured, he would get absolutely torn to shreds.
He did well against that. Did well against Traore.
Talking about shots and all of that, he's at 0.4 shots, but that's again similar to Max Aaron's, similar to Wan-Bissaka, only a little bit worse than Reece James. I think the difficulty is you are comparing him with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Trent is a world-class player. He's the best right back in the world. When you look at especially his defensive, because predominantly Neco is a right back, isn't he? He's not technically this amazing going forward player. His ground success duels are better than Trent and Max Aarons and Reece James, only beaten by one of the best defensive right backs in the league with Max Wan-Bissaka. His aerial duels are better again than Trent, than Max Aarons. His clearances are on par with Trent. Defensively, he's not too bad. And the key one that I want to look at is interceptions. That's, for me, key. Because he's intercepting the ball. He knows where to be. He's got that in his head. He knows where he needs to be to cut out those passes. That, for me, is key. That, for me, that really is.
I think that comes with the minutes that he does play, though. Because obviously, I know this is per 90, but when he comes on, he usually comes on for Trent at the end of the game. So naturally, players are going to be more leggy. They're going to be more tired. They're going to give the ball away more.
Well, yeah, but
they're frustrated and we're an on top side.
You can complain about any
chances could be skewed, like the take on success. Players are going to be more tired, and he has got pace, and he's definitely better going forward, and he likes to drive with the ball. But I see him as kind of I do think he's more of a wing back than a right back. I think he's similar to Trent in that extent that he wants to always go forward, but I don't see him ever being good enough defensively because he's weak, he's short. I never see him beating anyone, strength wise or dominating a player. Like I do think that, especially at the back, like I've said, I think he would get torn apart by any of the even half decent wingers.
It's a tough one. Look, you can say anything about stats because obviously stats are stats. They're not the the pinnacle of working it all out. Although many more teams are starting to be more data driven. I think the thing I've noticed is Reece James is pretty shit, but I don't want to bully Chelsea fans too much. I mean, yeah, he's just a bit of a shit player.
I do think Reece James is overrated.
He is overrated.
Yeah, so do I.
After 3 games, he's a world-class best right back in the league.
Yeah, if he'd have had even a subpar Champions League final, Chelsea fans or nobody would be bigging him up. It's only because the most recent game that he's played, he was incredible. And he just happened to be the Champions League final. In a game in which Sterling was shocking. Surprise,
I mean, we're talking about Reece James and we're saying Sterling. Let's be real, please. Let's try and.
I would understand if this was the Sterling of 2-3 years ago, but it's not. This is a man that's played half the games of the past few years, and a man who's completely out of form, who hasn't had his goal scoring touch, who's been in and out of the team, who hasn't been able to find rhythm, who just in general doesn't look the same player anymore. And so a guy like Reece James, who's been moved about centre mid, right wing back, right centre back in a back 5, back 3. Because of that one game, everyone now thinks that he's sensational. But if you watch him throughout the course of the season, he's had. You could probably count on one hand how many decent performances he's had. I don't think that he's been very good all season. I think he's defensively poor. His attacking rate is overrated. He's not got the attacking creativity as somebody like a Trent. Like we can see, obviously, we know he's not as good going forward, but that's pretty much impossible. But he's also not as good defensively as Wan-Bissaka. So he's basically not better than either of those players because he hasn't got a direct strength. He's just kind of all right, which is why people say he's this all-round player. But no, he's all-round at not very much, if you know what I mean. It's like, would you rather be incredible at a couple of things or meh at a lot of things? And that's basically Reece James.
Can I also just say that Reece James loses out to Brandon Williams on interceptions? Reece James' reading of the game.
His pass accuracy is the highest, but that's, I think, because he plays a lot of safe passes.
Yeah.
I think
but his pass accuracy,
passes.
His pass accuracy isn't much better than Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams, to be brutal.
Here's the thing: Reece James don't even cross, bro. Like, his pass accuracy is sideways passing.
I don't think his passing is that good.
I don't want to go into Reece James too much, but when you look at that, I mean, realistically, when you're on the same level, because look at those levels. He's
Yeah.
pretty much on the same level as fucking Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams is United's backup right back, for goodness sake. He's on par with Neco, almost. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of areas that he is better. I mean, aerial duels, he's by far the best. But if we look at purely the defensive stats, clearances, interceptions, block, his reading of the game is woeful at best. Reece James is not a good reader of the game, which is why I think Tuchel is looking for a Hakimi, because Reece James simply is just not good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a centre.
I mean, I think you said it yourself, that the fact that his chances created are, not great for, if you want the best team in the country or the best team in the world, you need to be having somebody get as close to Trent as possible. And Hakimi, as we know, for the past, 2-3 years, has been creating goals, assists, left, right and centre from that right wing-back position. And he would be perfect for them. I think Reece James needs to kind of solidify his own position and really figure out where he is best. Because it's all right saying, oh yeah, he can be versatile, but similar, like I've said with Bako Saka in previous streams, that if you want to be a top player, you have to find your own position at the end of the day. You can't just be this guy drifting around teams for your whole career, because you'll never reach your full potential.
Yeah, no, I do hear that. I had a right back in my head. He's now flown out of my head.
Carvajal? He's nowhere near what
it was Trippier.
Oh yeah,
that's what I want.
Yeah, I think
I knew I had a right back. I knew I had a
similar to James in the way that I don't think he's incredible at either defensive or attacking, but I think he's better at both than James, if you know what I mean. Like he's that middle point between Trent and Wan-Bissaka in my mind. I might be wrong, but that's what I think of him as me, and I definitely think he's better than Reece James.
So when you put Reece James in against the best right backs, we all think, don't even lace their boots. He doesn't even right. So Wan-Bissaka is clear of him on everything defensively. Mm-hmm. He's also got a better shot accuracy. Just a bit of Wan-Bissaka propaganda here. He has got the best shot accuracy out of all of them. So we don't want to. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm just going to be respectful to Wan-Bissaka. He has actually got the best shot accuracy than all of them. So Trent, Reece James, Hakimi and Trippier, come outside. Wan-Bissaka just wants to talk to you. He's going to teach you how to get the ball on target. But then you look at his defensive. Look at Reece James defensively. But actually, also, I've just realised that I've put Hakimi in the copper thing. Let's put Hakimi. There we go. Right, that's that. What the fuck is right? Firstly, Hakimi defensively is also very suspect.
Christ.
And that is a Hakimi in Serie A, which is a defensive.
Bloody hell.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's not good defensively. He has the recovery pace, that's why.
Okay, this is not good. This is not good at all. Chelsea they're downgrading on me.
Trent's bad at the back, though.
Trent's actually
statistically wise, Trent looks bad at the back, but I think when
he doesn't. Watch him, he actually doesn't. I mean, he's the only one out.
Like his duels win rate is obviously worse.
His duels aren't massive. They're on par pretty. He is worse technically, but defensive stats, clearances, interceptions, blocks.
Yeah.
Hello, Reece James. Trent wants to talk to you, as does Wan-Bissaka.
Hakimi has more interceptions just than Reece James. And then obviously a lot less clearances, which I don't think really matter too much. Because I think that probably depends how the team tactics are. But yeah, that's surprising. I knew that it wasn't amazing at the back, but that does surprise me.
Who?
Hold on, I want
Hakimi, how poor those defensive stats are. Like, do you know what I mean? I know that he's primarily a wing back and primarily basically a right mid.
If Hakimi was good
to be that in the Serie A, but yeah, I don't think he was that bad at the back.
If Hakimi is good defensively, he'll be at Real Madrid right now. but he's not.
Yeah, I think Real did kind of miss the boat on him because obviously at the time I think Carvajal was still good, wasn't he? Probably 2 years ago. And then that's why they let him go to Dortmund. They then brought him back and then sold him last year because they thought that Carvajal was still good enough. But since then, Carvajal's basically done nothing. I think he's been injured a fair bit. And Hakimi's obviously this, young wing back that's just doing incredible for 2-3 years.
I just have a Chelsea fan in a group chat that I'm in, and I just like to bully him a little bit. So I've just took a photo and sent it to him.
Could you
The
bring
two
up
worst
Kyle
defensive
Walker's
fullbacks in
stats?
the league.
Could you bring up Kyle Walker's stats as well? I want to see him.
Oh,
That would be a good one, actually.
who should I remove then? Trippier?
Yeah.
Yeah, take out Trippier.
Yeah, let's compare it with the two right backs that Chelsea want to go get, shall we?
Yeah, because then you have
Kyle
the best,
Walker.
you have the best attacking right back, you have the best defensive right back, you have two of Chelsea's, and then the other top right back in the country.
Kyle Walker.
Yeah, who I think that's kind of the thing. Hakimi's defensive wise, I think would probably be similar to Kyle Walker, but I think his attacking is just so much better. Jesus, he's worse than Walker. God, that's bad. That's really bad.
And he's England's best right back. Lord help me. Who's this?
The man is worse than Kyle Walker.
How is he? What?
Prefer not to speak.
He has similar stats to Hakimi. Oh my days, man.
He has better stats. Look at his clearances. Look at his blocks. Look at his... Oh my God. I'm done. Reece James, Hakimi. Reece James, get out of the England. If Reece James had any sort of dignity, he would remove himself out of the England squad. Like if he had an ounce of dignity in his soul, he would remove himself out of the England squad. He'd be like, "Look, Alf, I'm not good enough. You shouldn't have me." Like if he had an ounce of dignity, he would walk out of this England team. That is woeful. That is so bad. I mean, and can we just look at Hakimi? This is a Hakimi that's in Serie A, the most defensive league you can find.
Yep.
That is...
And with probably the worst wingers that you'll find overall. Because Serie A isn't predominantly, it's not about pace and skill on the wings, is it? It's a very central-based, passing sort of league.
Inconsistency is where James wins. Yeah, you're telling me. Just confirm Norwich signed.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that.
I've no idea who he is.
You were linked with him before.
A winger, forward from Werder Bremen. He was linked with us, I think, last year.
Trent is bad at the back, but his stats are better than Hakimi. Trent's not bad
actually
at the
not
back.
bad at the back.
He's not bad.
That's the thing with Trent. His stats are definitely skewed in a way.
Okay, yeah. Aerial duels, he's not the greatest at. His ground duel success rate is actually better than Kyle Walker. So
I think it's the mistakes he makes, and people recognize it more than other fullbacks. Because Walker makes plenty of mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where you see the recoveries are so high because he might make the initial mistake, but the thing that Trent is so good at is not rushing in and putting in a bad challenge like a Kyle Walker, like a Wan-Bissaka.
Well, actually, that's a good shout. Let's add in.
Do you know what I mean? Like ball recovery 7.7 per game. That's as per 90, isn't it? And that's incredible because his composure and his know-how and how clever he is. He doesn't put in just rash challenges. He stands his ground. He gets back into position, and then he makes the right challenge, the composed challenge, as opposed to just diving in and giving away penalties. That's why he never gives away penalties.
What I've done is I've actually added in fouls, and what you're saying is correct. Trent don't make fouls. Neither does Wan-Bissaka, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I can remember maybe one, maybe two penalties that he's ever given away. I can't remember him ever giving away penalties, to be honest.
Neither can I. I don't think I've seen Trent give away a penalty.
Obviously, most famously, there was probably that handball one, wasn't there, against City a couple of years ago. There was the one against Roma in the Champions League in the semi-final, but they're not challenges, are they? They're not bad, slide tackles, getting back into position and trying to make saving a bad challenge that he's already made earlier on and giving away a mistake. He's a composed player, and that's why he's so good.
I think VVD's giving away more pens than Trent.
Yeah. The thing with Van Dijk's one, they're always like weirder ones. They're not like rushing in and making a challenge, is it? He like usually goes obviously for the ball and just like clips the man or something like that.
Yeah.
His Van Dijk's ones are always suspect. I remember the one where Mahrez put it over the bar. I think he was trying to block the shot and he just managed to get a touch on the man at the same time.
No. He went for the tackle, but he took out.
Yeah, because they were throwing goal, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gave one away against Spurs.
Hey Reese from Wolf.
Hello.
Hakimi playing wing back for a reason. Well, clearly.
Well, maybe boots Chelsea down to the ground then.
Yeah, I mean the Chelsea fan in the chat has seen it, but he's not bothered to reply to it because I think he's probably in shock and needing to go get a vodka because he's just that. I mean, Reece has only had one or two good games. I mean, for me, he's not great, and he's actually not green on anything. Everyone else has at least got something about them that they're the best out of all of the top right backs in there is, and Reece James has got nothing, absolutely nothing. There is nothing Reece James has got ahead. Look, Trent has obviously got the offensive stats. Wan-Bissaka has obviously got the defensive stats. But then Hakimi at least has shots and assists. Walker at least has passing and aerial duels. Reece James has nothing about him. There's nothing about him. So I don't want Reece James starting tonight. I want I want Trippier. I've always said I want Trippier right back because Reece James is a suspect player at best. But obviously, because he's Chelsea, whatever. I don't know if Chelsea paid the media or something, but
he's proper Chelsea. That's what.
Proper Chelsea. Is he proper Chelsea? Is he? Proper Chelsea. He's come through like youth academy and all that. But Saka doesn't need the Euros. Euros needs him. Do you know what I've always said? Reece James is not special. He's trying to say. I know that. No, what I've always said, I would have taken Wan-Bissaka. I would have also taken Trent, and I would have also taken Trippier, because for me, Wan-Bissaka could play that centre-back role quite well. I mean, he's been marking Lindelof all season, so he's clearly got the awareness to play centre-back. But also, like, if you want to take the extra right-back for whatever reason, I'd have taken those three. You've got one of the best attacking right-backs of all time in Trent. You've got arguably one of the best defensive right-backs in Wan-Bissaka, and you've got a very good all-rounder in Trippier. That's what I would have done. That's what the three I'd have taken. Reece James don't even get in. Reece James don't even get in over Max Aarons for me. That's all I'll say. Is that Velvish Clown? It is Velvish Clown. But we are...
Shut up, Wolf.
Whoa. The anger that you have is unbelievable, Velvish one. But yeah, I mean... It's a tough one. It is a tough one, but look, I don't think we should be looking at Reece James. I just don't think he's good enough. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, and I mean Russ is gonna give me a bit of shit, but Reece, I'll go.
Charlotte, I'm gonna go at you.
What?
Charlotte and Prime. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, the lot of them. I'll take them all on. But we'll slowly wrap up. But Lewis, give me your final thoughts. What's your final thoughts? Mainly on like Villa. Talk to me about Villa, Smith Rowe. Final thoughts. Wrap it up.
No, yeah, I think overall it could be. He did have potential. And I think as he grows up, he will get a better player. It's just whether Arsenal how much they want for him, and how badly they want to tie him down on a new contract.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Velvishwan, wrap up. Well, talk to me about Neco. Should he stay? Should he go? Sold? Loaned? What should he do?
Just loan him out, and then loan him out to either a lower Premier League side or a Championship team. Let him get first team thoughts and come back stronger.
I hear that. Wolf saying, my final thoughts, Man U will win the Premier League. Wales will win the Euros. Nala's a go and Velva's a clown. Love it. Love to see it. And Reese, wrap up for me. What do you want to do in Neco Williams?
Yeah, I think we should, if we can get anywhere near 10 million, then definitely look to sell him and try and bring in somebody who's got more experience. Somebody who's going to accept being a backup. Obviously, still fight for their place as much as possible. And I think it's right for Neco as well to go away and get more game time at a lesser club. Where he can really build a career for himself and hopefully go on to do well for himself.
Yeah, no, I hear that. What we are going to do is we're going to wrap up now. It's actually been a longer transfer talk than I thought, and I quite like that. But before you go, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Check out our socials, Twitter, Let's Talk EPL, Instagram, Let's Talk EPL_, and on TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. Velvishwan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at vel_skills.
Perfect. Lewis, where can they find you?
Hey, find me on Twitter, LewisPay160. Find me on usual post sports. You can find me on Instagram at LewisPay.
Yeah, perfect. And Reese, where can they find you?
Over on Twitter, LFC_Reese. Also on TikTok, Reese_JB. England previews and reviews. Niall will be along there tonight after the England game. That's RJB TV.
Perfect. And I absolutely will. But also, I'm trying out different things, but I don't know if it's too much effort, and they don't move when I tell them to. There we go. I'll just do that. It's just easier. Neco Williams, can I wrap Velv in a garbage bag? I mean, do what you want to Velv, I mean, Velv likes it kinky. But we are going to be better. As we said, I'll be on his match reaction after the England game. We'll have a watch along Croatia, Scotland, Czech Republic, England tonight. As I say, I'll be on Reese's channel after that. And then later tonight, around about 11:30, roughly, we've got the late show with me and Matt tonight at, as I say, around about 11:30. The time obviously will be. We'll figure that out. But until then, thanks for watching. Check out our socials. Let's Talk EPL on Twitter. Let's Talk EPL _ on Instagram. Let's Talk Premier League on TikTok. Velv will hurt you though. I don't think Velv will. Velv is a muppet. But until then, thanks for watching, guys, and see you later. Bye bye.